Hi there, everyone. Here's some of what's heading your way tonight. Your news at 9.
Joe Biden is now the 46th president of the United States. I'm Ray Bogan of Washington with a look at the very first actions he took inside the Oval Office coming up.
Many students at Pittsburgh State University hope today signifies the beginning of a time of unity. I'm Zach Dodge with their reaction to the inauguration of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris coming up.
As states move into the next phases of the COVID-19 vaccine rollout, it's leaving many of you with questions about what's next. I'm Chris Warner. We'll bring you some answers.
Doug Eddy is weather. Jacob Leonard has some sports as well. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. The United States now has a new president in the Oval Office on this inauguration day. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were sworn in on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. Fox News correspondent Ray Bogan is in D.C. with more on that and what President Biden had to say.
2 weeks ago, rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol. But today, there was a peaceful transfer of power with the Biden administration sending a very different message from Washington.
This is America's day. This is democracy's day.
In his inaugural address as 46th president, Joe Biden called for unity.
We can see each other not as adversaries, but as neighbors. We can treat each other with dignity and respect.
At 78 years old, President Biden is the oldest person to be sworn in. He's the first to have a mostly virtual ceremony because of the pandemic and more National Guard members in D.C. than attendees due to security concerns. There's also the big historic first. Kamala Harris is now the first African American and first Indian American woman to become vice president.
So help me God.
Meanwhile, for the first time in more than 150 years, the departing president did not attend. Former President Trump said farewell from Joint Base Andrews before the ceremony.
I wish the new administration great luck and great success.
Back at the Capitol, the president and vice president were given the flags that flew overhead the moment power was peacefully transferred over, 2 weeks after the Capitol attack.
The Star-Spangled Banner is our greatest symbol of our endurance of the American idea. It flies over this building on triumphant days and on tragic ones.
President Biden got right to work when he entered the Oval Office, signing 17 executive orders and actions, including re-entering the Paris Climate Accord and ending construction of the southern border wall. In Washington, Ray Bogan, Fox News.
As we just heard, President Biden's inauguration speech today was one of unity, calling on all Americans to work together to overcome the obstacles we face today. KOAM's Zach Dodge has how that message resonated with some students at Pittsburgh State University and what a local representative hopes will happen now.
My whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people.
A message of unity from Joe Biden moments after he was sworn in as the 46th president of the United States. One that gives Pittsburgh State University student Jared Bush hope for what's to come.
It seems like we're headed in a good direction. Hopefully, we can just continue to improve. But yes, this inauguration was very exciting.
Students came in and out of the Office of Diversity throughout the morning, watching history unfold.
I felt very hopeful to see such a large amount of change in just the atmosphere and people, and the sense of hope that things in this country can get a lot better.
Another exciting moment for students and Vice President of Student Affairs, Deetra Rose, Kamala Harris being sworn in as the first female vice president in history.
So help me God. So help me God.
It just shows that even in 2021, we are still breaking ground, but we still have a lot of work to do.
It's such a huge groundbreaking moment for us to witness history.
Republican Representative Ken Collins, who was at the Capitol in Topeka and plans to watch the inauguration later on, hopes the president's message of hope is more than just words.
He's calling for people to work together, reach across the aisle, talk to the people on the other side, which I think is great. And he is our president and now, so we should pray for him. We should hope the best, and we should, just like any other elected official, you know, if you agree with what's going on, let them know. If you don't agree, let them know that too.
In Pittsburgh, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
And that brings us to tonight's KOAM News Now Insta poll. The question is, how do you feel about our nation's prospects for the next 4 years? Your options are optimistic, pessimistic, or uncertain. You can vote at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results are updated live, and we'll be checking on them later in this newscast. Doug Eddy joining us now with our first check of the forecast. Seems like that wind is making things colder than what it is, if that makes sense. You know, it's cold wind.
Yeah, it really is, and it's going to stay breezy throughout the overnight hours for us tonight, and then again into Thursday. But temperature is really not that bad for us today, as we did go right around 50 for a high. Cold start, 24 during the morning hours, even though we have had clouds all day long, we still hit 50 degrees. There has been some rain skirting just south of the region, right across Oklahoma and parts of Arkansas, but this is going to stay south of the area for us tonight. Anywhere from mid to upper 30s to lower 40s. I think most of us are going to kind of hang out into the mid to upper 30s for overnight lows tonight. We do have a lot of changes over the next few days. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
All right, Doug, thank you so much. Police are looking for this man, Benjamin Whitaker, a fugitive from Montgomery County, Kansas, after being released on furlough by a judge. He's also a person of interest after police in Parsons, Kansas, found an ATM chained to a pickup truck near the Lobet Bank on Main Street. Police say the truck was reported stolen earlier, along with 2 guns. Whitaker is considered armed and dangerous. Police say an undisclosed amount of cash was stolen from that ATM. If you see him, call authorities. Coffeyville, Kansas is mourning the loss of Aaron Flores, the head football coach of Coffeyville Community College. Officials say Flores passed away from COVID-19 complications. Flores was 50 years old. States have started moving on in the next phases of their COVID-19 vaccine distribution plans, left some wondering what their next steps are if they're eligible under the new phases. KOM's Chris Warner spoke to officials and providers in Missouri and has more on what you need to know.
Missouri announced it was moving into the next steps of COVID vaccine distribution. However, there's not any vaccine available yet. But that hasn't stopped the Joplin Health Department from starting to make plans.
We're waiting on the vaccine. Once we get that, we will put out a series of press releases letting everybody know where the site is, what groups are currently eligible at that time, how to sign up, so on.
The Newton County Health Department doesn't have any vaccine yet either, but they're hopeful some will be in soon.
We have been able to make our first order. We have ordered over 400 doses of vaccine and don't know how many of those we will get. We're hoping to get the full allotment and don't know the exact date of when we'll receive it. I hope that we'll receive it next week.
Newton County has also been making plans for distribution.
So the public can now register to receive the vaccination by going to our website, newtoncountyhealth.org. And we have a space there that you can send an email to administration.
Then they play the waiting game for the vaccine to arrive.
Once we receive the vaccine, those who are registered, we will make phone calls to let them know that we have the vaccine and here's the date that we're offering you that vaccine.
Missouri also has a number of registered distributors, which include pharmacy chains like Walmart, Walgreens, and CVS, and locally owned pharmacies like Stone's Corner. They also have an online registration option.
So as soon as we have the vaccine, we will be contacting people to let them know that we have the vaccine, we'd like to get you scheduled, and then give them time slots so that we can efficiently move people in and out. And so they will know as soon as it becomes available.
Pharmacist and owner Chad Isaac says there's an alternative if you can't get online.
You know, if somebody is unable to go to our website, they're more than welcome to call us. We can walk through that. We can do those steps for them so that we can put in their information and they'll know that they're on our list and will be contacted when it's time.
Newton County has a similar offline option. In Southwest Missouri, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
The U.S. is averaging around 200,000 new infections a day. This as President Biden's administration introduces new plans to fight the coronavirus. Also, as state and local officials call for more vaccine doses. Fox News correspondent Jonathan Seary has more.
President Biden begins his term in office today with a new strategy for fighting the coronavirus, including rejoining the World Health Organization and mandating face masks on federal property.
We're entering what may be the toughest and deadliest period of the virus. We must set aside politics and finally face this pandemic as one nation.
The Biden administration takes the reins as the country's coronavirus death toll surpasses 400,000. Hospitalizations have leveled off in some hard-hit states, including California, where the state's transmission rate has decreased. But public health officials fear COVID-19 variants could prevent progress, including a new strain blamed for a wave of recent cases in Los Angeles.
The recent emergence of rapidly spreading variants makes the rapid and equitable rollout of vaccines all the more important.
Meanwhile, some state leaders are trying to secure more vaccine doses as their supply runs low. Here in Georgia, health officials say they're only receiving 80,000 doses a week for a population of more than 10 million. In New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio says at least 23,000 vaccine appointments for this week were rescheduled due to a lack of supplies. He's calling on the federal government to release doses being held in reserve.
We need the freedom to vaccinate. Let's free up those second doses. Keep the appointments going that have already been made.
President Biden says his administration has a goal of administering 100 million vaccine shots during his first 100 days in office. In Atlanta, Jonathan Sering, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor one of our four-state heroes. Orby Whitaker served in the U.S. Air Force from 1950 to 68. Native of Mound Valley, Kansas, Whitaker was stationed in Korea, also Vietnam. We are proud to thank Tech Sergeant Orby Whitaker. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, Webb City standout Hayden Barrett is headed to the MIAA. Going to have details in sports.
Well, it turned out to be not a bad day for us today. Definitely windy across the region, and we had a lot of clouds as well, but temperatures up to 50 for a high, which we'll definitely take. And mainly dry for the next few days, and then it picks up a little bit, especially Saturday night into Sunday with some rain chances, maybe a wintry mix by Monday, and then another wave right behind it, which could give us rain over to snow on next Wednesday. Even another system right behind that by Saturday. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Zooming in, 41. South wind still at about 10, so it's kind of breezy. It's going to stay kind of breezy for us tonight. Humidity is sitting at about 82%. But you can see our temperatures around the metro. Most of us 39 in Pittsburgh, 41 in Carl Junction, 41 in Neosho. So most of us hovering near 40 degrees. And with the south winds tonight, we're not going to drop off a whole bunch more. I think maybe 2, 3, 4 degrees at best. But you can see most of us upper 30s to lower 40s across the region. And still kind of windy. Not near as windy as what we had earlier today, but the winds are still kicking in at about 10 to 15 gusts, right around 20 to 25. It's going to stay breezy tonight. The south winds at 10 to 20, and then kind of breezy once again for us tomorrow. But we are going to get a cold front that is going to roll through, and that will help diminish the winds just a bit during the afternoon hours. A lot of clouds, not much underneath them. We have seen at least a few small little showers, mainly in our southern counties, kind of passing by. They didn't really do much for us. We got a random sprinkle or two in our southern counties, and that's just about it. This system pushing off toward the east, out to the west, additional storm systems starting to get going. One out across the Pacific Northwest, a little tiny wave just to the south of Los Angeles. That's going to shoot to our south by tomorrow night. It'll give us some clouds, but most of the rain will stay south of the region. So let's go through the next couple days. For us tonight, a lot of clouds, kind of breezy. We'll drop back upper 30s. Mid-30s in our northern counties. South winds through the first half of the day, and then we switch to north winds during the afternoon. But still, temperatures are going to be pretty good. 38 to start, 51 by noon. High temp right around 55. By tomorrow night, still a lot of clouds, a little bit colder. We'll drop back into lower 30s. And then Friday looks pretty good. Partly sunny skies. We should go into the upper 40s for afternoon highs. So the next 2 days, not too bad. As we head into the weekend, Saturday looks okay, but clouds will start to increase. We'll start to get some showers in here late Saturday night and mainly into Sunday morning. This first wave pushes by, but late Sunday into Monday, a second wave starts to build in. This could give us rain, possibly over to snow as we head into Monday evening, and then we'll get a day break, and then another system is going to roll in on Wednesday that could also give us rain over to snow. So at least the pattern starts to pick up just a bit over the next few days. 55 tomorrow, 48 on Friday, back to 54 on Saturday. Rain chances Sunday.
50-some degrees sounds awesome. I'll take that.
Yeah, pretty good.
See you a little bit. Thank you so much. Coming up, how history is writing the first day of the Biden presidency.
President Biden jumping into action on day one with several executive actions seeking to reverse policies of the Trump administration. I'm Mike Emanuel on Capitol Hill. I'll have the details coming up.
On his first day in office, President Biden taking executive actions reversing policies of the Trump administration. Fox News chief congressional correspondent Mike Emanuel has more now from Washington.
Just hours into his administration, President Biden plans to take executive action to reverse several initiatives taken over the past 4 years by President Trump. In his first tweet as president, Mr. Biden saying he is heading to the Oval Office to get right to work.
It's time for boldness, for there's so much to do.
Among those planned actions is halting construction of the U.S.-Mexico border wall, ending the ban on travel from several Muslim-majority countries, and revoking approval of the Keystone XL pipeline. Mr. Biden also set to send a sweeping immigration proposal to Congress on day one that would create a shortened path to citizenship.
We'll press forward with speed and urgency, for we have much to do in this winter of peril and significant possibilities. Much to repair, much to restore, much to heal, much to build, and much to gain.
President Biden's top priority, getting a handle on the coronavirus pandemic that has claimed the lives of more than 400,000 Americans. The president planning to sign an order mandating a mask requirement and social distancing on all federal property, while also extending the pause on student loan payments and evictions and foreclosures. Mr. Biden previously committing to 100 million vaccinations in his first 100 days.
We're entering what may be the toughest and deadliest period of the virus. We must set aside politics and finally face this pandemic as one nation.
Rejoining the Paris Climate Accord as well as the World Health Organization are among additional executive actions expected today by President Biden. On Capitol Hill, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Just ahead, one of the last official acts from the 45th president.
President Trump releases his final pardon list just hours before leaving the White House. I'm Peter Ducey with details next.
Earlier today, then President Donald Trump pardoned former chief strategist Steve Bannon as part of a flurry of clemency action in the final hours of his White House term. Fox News correspondent Peter Ducey has more from the White House.
On the last day of his presidency, Donald Trump issuing a list with more than 70 pardons and 70 commutations. The name getting the most attention, Steve Bannon, the president's former chief strategist who was indicted after raising money to build the southern border wall, most of which he allegedly stole. Also on the list, other political allies and prominent Republicans, as well as family connections like a friend of son-in-law Jared Kushner, who was charged with cyber stalking his ex-wife. But the president didn't pardon any members of his own family or himself.
He signs the pardon papers, so, if he decides that he wants to pardon someone in his family or himself, he just has to sign that, prepared by White House counsel.
There were some surprises as well. Rappers Lil Wayne and Kodak Black, both convicted on weapons charges, and former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, a Democrat who served more than 7 years behind bars for racketeering and bribery.
Most presidents end their terms with pardons. Some of the people pardoned are pretty sleazy.
The president also pardoned two former Republican congressmen convicted on corruption charges, Rick Renzi of Arizona and Duke Cunningham of California. Some former staffers say it fits a familiar pattern, President Trump stepping in when he thinks the law has been misapplied.
But I'm not really sure that this is going to be the thing that really takes down President Trump's, future in politics. His use of the pardon power hasn't hurt him thus far, and I don't expect it to right now.
Legal experts had been divided on whether or not President Trump could have pardoned himself ahead of that second impeachment trial by the Senate. He didn't do it. At the White House, Peter Ducey, Fox News.
So we're going to learn about the latest scientific efforts behind anti-aging. Four States Zone back right after this. So have scientists in China discovered the fountain of youth? Not exactly, but they say they have developed a new gene therapy that is as close as we may get. The therapy is said to reverse some effects of aging in mice and may extend their lifespans by 25%. Now, it involves inactivating a gene called CAT7 in the livers of the mice, which experts say is a key contributor to cellular aging. And while it may take quite a while before humans are used to test this new discovery, researchers say they hope to test on primates next. We were talking during the break. I think this is, I don't know, sorry to be harsh, but I think it reminds me in a way of an episode of The Twilight Zone, a bad plot. That one episode where the woman has plastic surgery and they're taking the bandages off her face. I don't know. Few of you know what I'm talking about. Few of you do. I'm not crazy to everyone. Most of you, yes. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
There's a new product that is made in Kansas, and it's helping health experts detect cases of COVID-19. In fact, I am standing in front of a nursing home in Neodesha, Kansas that's already used that product to detect a COVID-positive patient. Details are coming up.
Plus a warning from a local business about online security and a fake Facebook page. There's a new product that's helping healthcare providers fight COVID-19, and the company making it is based over in Parsons, Kansas. Workers there say the new coronavirus screening tool has already helped prevent an outbreak in a 4-state nursing home. KOAM's Mike Mahoney has this story.
Morningstar Care Homes in Neodesha, Kansas is one of many senior living facilities that's always looking for new ways to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Something that we've never experienced before for sure, and it's been rough, but we've put in many different check-in points and things that we do to ensure their safety.
They've found success and an increased sense of safety by using a new product out of Parsons, Kansas. Sensible Solutions has created a scratch and sniff card that is helping facilities like Morningstar sniff out possible coronavirus cases.
The scratch and sniff tests have shown that people are asymptomatic with every other symptom. They don't have fever, they don't have a cough, they don't have shortness of breath, but they suddenly realize they've lost their sense of smell, or their sense of smell has changed in some way.
Morningstar staff says those cards have already helped them identify an employee with COVID-19.
They were very grateful. The prior day, able to smell, and the day they tested positive, couldn't smell any of it.
Facilities like Morningstar house some of the country's most vulnerable residents. And with these pocket-sized cards preventing a possible coronavirus outbreak, they'll most likely be sticking around until the pandemic is in the rearview mirror.
They saved our residents from a possible horrible situation, and so we support it totally.
In Neodesha, Kansas, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
Sensible Solutions says the scratch and sniff cards are cost-effective ways for organizations to screen for COVID-19 because they act as an in-between for actual coronavirus tests. NEO, A&M College in Miami, and Northeast Tech in the town of Kansas, Oklahoma, are partnering to create a fast-track nursing program. Today, the schools signed a memorandum of understanding to develop the program. It's going to allow graduates of Northeast Tech to pursue an associate nursing degree from NEO at Northeast Tech's campus. Missouri Southern's Board of Governors met today to discuss projects around the school. Those include a plan to repair and reopen the Taylor Performing Arts Center. The board wants the project to be listed as a critical priority and to add the remediation of the balcony stairwell to the whole project. With that addition, the project would cost a projected total of $2.5 million. Joplin Business is warning people about a fake Facebook page that is asking for money. The owners of Olive and Fig say there's a fake Facebook page of their business and that there's a post to win a gift after you register. Apparently, people's bank accounts are now being charged.
You just wonder why people end up in those situations where they have to do those things to get money, and they feel like they have to wrong people to do that.
Security experts say it's always a good idea to call the number listed on a Facebook page to just make sure the page is legit, especially before entering personal information for those contests. All right, tonight's KOAM News Now Instant Poll question was, how do you feel about our nation's prospects for the next 4 years of the Biden presidency? Your options were optimistic, pessimistic, or uncertain. Here are the results. 53% of you say pessimistic, 45% of you say optimistic, and 2% of you say uncertain. Thanks everyone who voted. A bit later, looking for love, pandemic style.
Thanks to the pandemic, dating apps are no longer just about swiping right or left on a pretty face. I'm Christina Parks-Nevelis in New York City. How dating app companies are trying to capitalize on the increase in user engagement. It's coming up.
Well, it turned out to be a decent day for us today. Even though we had the clouds, we had the wind across the region, but our temperature is right around 50 degrees during the afternoon, which, hey, we'll take. And, well, I guess we're, almost late January now. But over the next few days, we do have some changes. I think the next 2 days really look okay, but by late Saturday into Sunday, we get some rain chances working in, maybe a little rainstorm mix on Monday. And then as we head into Wednesday, another system next Saturday, next system. You can always get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Outside, 41, humidity kind of high at about 82%, but most of us around the metro are sitting near 40 degrees, and we're not going to drop off much tonight. Those southerly winds will keep those temperatures up just a bit. 36 Yates Center, 40 in Welch, 41 in Neosho and Nevada, just a hair cooler at 39 degrees. But look at the south winds really kicking in 10 to 20. That's what we're going to see as we work through the overnight hours tonight. Clouds still out there. Nothing really underneath them. Had a few random showers, mainly to our south earlier this evening, but all these are pretty much gone as this first wave is rotating off toward the south and to the east. Let's go west. We got the storm systems lining up. Next system is just to the south of Los Angeles. You can see that little spin. It's going to rotate out tomorrow night, but again, to our south, it'll give us some clouds, and that's about it. It's the systems behind that will start to affect us. Let's go through time tonight. South winds will drop back upper 30s for overnight lows. As we go into Thursday, we'll have south winds. Watch them switch around to the northwest during the afternoon. A weak cold front is going to roll in, but still our temperature is pretty good. 38 to start, 51 by noon, then a high temp right around 55 during the afternoon. But with the cold front, a little bit colder for us tomorrow night as we drop back into lower 30s. And then on Friday, a little bit cooler, but still not bad. Partly sunny skies, high temps into the upper 50s. Then we get the changes. Next storm system. So this rolls in Saturday night and into Sunday. So in the pattern, my pattern, we're in a cycle of about 45 and a half, 46 days. So the last time this storm system rolled through was on December 9th. It gave us mainly rain. We got a little bit of snow on the backside. So Sunday we get rain. Heading into Monday, rain maybe mixing with a little bit of snow. Then 2 days later, we had another system. So this is the December 11th storm. This mainly gave us snow. So I do think we'll see rain, possibly over to snow. We're going to watch this system. We'll get a couple days of a break, and then another system is going to roll in by next weekend. So it's going to be kind of active over the next week or so. 55 tomorrow. Enjoy that. 48 on Friday. Not bad. 54 on Saturday. Enjoy that. And then rain chances and a wintry mix moving in Sunday into Monday.
I agree, Doug. January does seem to be going by rather fast.
Yeah, it picks up. We're getting older.
Yeah, that's true. Doug Eddy, thank you so much. All right, coming up in sports, it's semifinal nights. Southeast Lancer Classic, plus National Athlete of the Week honors for Pitt State's Haven Lander. Sports Director Jacob Leonard has details next.
Tonight is semifinal night for the girls bracket at the Southeast Lancer Classic. Now, the first semifinal game features CNC against Tri-Valley. Baxter Springs on the floor tonight, aiming to knock off top-seeded Erie. It was a slow first quarter, but in the second, Abby Burgraft hits the corner three. Lions grab a quick lead, but Erie closes the half strong. Skylar Clevenger, nice look to Alex Pasquarelli. Then Clevenger pulling it up and shooting it this time. Team high 18 for Clevenger. Red Devils up 7 points at half. To the third now. Riley Brandt connects from deep. Then off the miss, it's Maddie Kramer. 11 in the second half for Kramer. Erie pulls away tonight to win it 55-39. Other side of the bracket, pair of teams out of Joplin here. McCauley taking on College Heights. Kaylee Teeter on the break for the Warriors. Game tied early. Other end though, Jaylee Johnson pulls up, buries the three. College Heights up 6 going to the second. Now in that second, McCauley trying to hang around. Kennedy Dury straight to the rim and scores, but the Cougars would extend the lead before half. Addie Lawrence from deep. College Heights up 13 at halftime. Cougars going to win at 46-37. They'll face Erie in the tournament championship. Pittsburgh State's Haven Lander has been named the Division II National Track and Field Athlete of the Week after winning her first pole vault competition of the season on Saturday. That's a great start for Lander, who's looking for a national championship number 3 this season. After the pandemic ended her junior season early, Pitt State's Haven Lander is ready to get back on top.
I definitely, when we got back here, I pushed myself very, very hard, tried to get the motivation back up to get to where I am.
With everything that happened last year, you could go one of two ways. You could lose motivation, or it motivates you even more. And I think she's taken the latter part of it to where she's even more motivated.
Lander is a 2-time national champion in the pole vault. She opened up the indoor season on Saturday with a first-place finish in her first event in nearly a year.
It definitely boosted my confidence a little bit. I was honestly having a little bit of troubles in the beginning of the year, kind of building that confidence back up, because obviously we haven't competed in so long.
Lander cleared 13 feet, 3.75 inches on Saturday. That mark is the best in Division II this season and automatically qualifies her for nationals at the end of the year.
It allows us to focus a little bit more technically, not have to worry about doing certain things, and we can kind of go back to making sure we're getting ourselves ready.
Now that I know that I'm going to be able to go to nationals, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to going back and showing that what happened last year doesn't matter. I'm still the same me, and I'm going to jump as best as I can.
For her performance, she earned national recognition as the Division II Track and Field Athlete of the Week, something she hopes is the first step on her way back to the top.
Seeing especially that was the first female athlete to ever get it for Pitt State, it was awesome. Just seeing that I was the one that was chosen for it when there's so many other amazing athletes out there, like, it just makes me really grateful that I'm able to do what I can do.
It's special just for a Pitt State athlete. Anytime we can get the exposure and our kids do well, it's great to see it, and that's what we're proud of.
Definitely makes me hungry for more and makes me want to achieve more things like that.
Pittsburgh State's next meet will be this weekend on the road at Washburn. Finally, Webb City standout pitcher Hayden Berry is headed to the MIAA. Berry announced her commitment today to play softball at the University of Central Missouri. Berry is an all-conference and all-district pitcher for Webb City, earning COC Player of the Year honors each of the last 2 seasons. She led the Cards to a runner-up finish in the state tournament last fall. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Dating apps have become a big business during this pandemic, so big that Bumble just filed for its IPO. While in-person interactions might be limited, online love is soaring. Fox Business Network's Christina Partsevelos has more.
What was once just about swiping right or left on an attractive face has now become more intentional and serious thanks to the pandemic. User engagement on dating apps have soared just over the last 9 months. Dating app Coffee Meets Bagel told Fox Business they've seen a noticeable change in daters' attitudes.
I think it's making daters think more seriously about dating and approach dating more seriously. 91% of CMB daters have told us that now they're looking for a long-term relationship. 68% of them are finding themselves being more honest about what they want with their matches.
Another new trend is video chats. Both Plenty of Fish and Coffee Meets Bagel told Fox Business they've seen a surge in singles using video dates more than ever before. And with more meaningful interactions comes higher user engagement. According to Tinder, in the second quarter of 2020, that would be the height of the pandemic, they had a record 3 billion swipes in one day. Tinder is owned by Match, and the competition is ramping up. The app where they encourage women to make the first move, Bumble, is said to be going public. They are reportedly seeking a valuation between $6 and $8 billion. And then you've also got Facebook that launched their own dating app back in the back half of 2019. I caught up with a couple that met on an app called Whisper.
We met in July and we started talking and we met in person. We haven't been apart since, and then I just had to be with her for the rest of my life, so I proposed. And
hey, I mean, not a single lady anymore.
The dating app companies are encouraging people to leave those lonely days behind. And for some, it works. That couple, Alessandra and Mark, plan to wed this upcoming May. In New York, Christina Parts-Nevelis, Fox News.
Gonna preview a new movie about friendship during crisis when we come back. The drama Our Friend offers a real tearjerker movie option this week, with it's inspired by a true story about a couple facing a crisis and a friend who puts his life on hold to help. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin with a preview.
Most of the time I felt like they were married.
Our Friend stars Casey Affleck, Dakota Johnson, and Jason Segel in a story about friendship in a time of crisis. The film is inspired by Matt Teague's article about his wife Nicole when she was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and their longtime friend Dane stays with them to help with their 2 daughters.
Hi, Fruit Loop.
Hey.
Segel says the bond at the center of the film for these 3 came naturally.
Dakota and I have known each other for about 10 years. Casey and I kind of got to know each other on camera while filming the movie, which is part of the story of the movie.
Affleck and Johnson add, when it comes to the pressure of playing real people, this was more about honoring the family.
To have the performance and the experience and the relationships be authentic as opposed to being exactly Nicole.
I play a guy who wrote the article that the movie's based on, and he really was excited about the movie. But they had 2 kids, and the kids are also portrayed in the movie. And those girls are now teenagers, and I was a little bit nervous about making sure that they were okay with it all. Talked to their dad and talked to them, and it seemed okay.
And country singer Jake Owen, who makes his film debut, says being part of the project also inspired him musically.
I definitely have, since filming this movie and explaining the purpose of it to a lot of my family and friends, songwriting buddies, a lot of ideas have come from it. I'm happy to be here.
Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Our Friend is available on video on demand is January 22nd rather, and is in theaters right now. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with today's inauguration parade. Be safe, do this all again tomorrow. See you then.